Okay, hey guys, I'm going to make this one sweet, short, and simple. So let me, first of all, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about how to make a draft queue and what I need from you guys to do on your draft queues. You need to have one list going at a time, and this is what I'm going to show you. This is going to cut down all the confusion, because when you have two lists, I don't know which one you want to use. Is it the most recent one you just submitted, or is it the old one? Are you just adding on to your old one? Is that what you're doing? I don't know. So I'm going to show you guys how to eliminate all of that, because I don't want to make any more mistakes. I want this league to run as smooth as possible. So now I'm at my team's home page, okay? I'm going to go over here to this 3 horizontal line button. And this gives me a lot of options here I can choose from. You guys should look through these. You can get them on your phone. You can get them on a computer. I prefer using a computer. But I'm going to go to add drop right there. Click it. Okay, so this is how I know how many lists I'm running right now. Review bids. I have no lists going right now. As you can see, I just hit review bids. Nothing came up. So let's make another bid. And now let's just start throwing players on it at random. Okay. And I'm going to submit that list. See how I just hit submit? That will give me a draft list. I can review bids now. Now what I can do here is I can edit this list by hitting the edit button. Let's say I decided I want Taysom Hill over Gardner Minshew. There you go. You just move him up. When you move Hill up and he's the top guy, he goes to the bottom. So if you want the top guy at the bottom, there. Or just, that's how you sort them. And then always click submit at the end of it. Okay, so let's say I went ahead and made another claim like this, like I just did. And let's just throw some players on it. This is where the trouble comes. So I submit that one now. Okay, so we're going to go back now to review bids. Now, as you can see, I have two lists. This is where it gets confusing for me as commissioner. I don't know which one you want to use. So what you could have done, instead of making a new list of guys, as you can see, this is the old list. It was first, and this is the newer list. But how do I know? Everybody thinks differently. So it would be so much better if you just got rid of one of them. Don't do two lists. If you want to add players to the list, all you have to do is hit edit. So in this case, I'd look at my list. I'd be like, okay, I reviewed my bids. I've got two lists. Glenn doesn't like that because it confuses him. So I'm going to cancel this list. And up here, you confirm okay. Or you can just hit enter. Now, as you can see, I have one list, which is what I want to do. Now let's say I wanted to add some players to it. Edit. I can go now in here and add players by hitting edit. Scroll down. You have to click the button inside the field area. There's 3 columns you have to realize here. Here's a column, here's a column, and here's a column. That's why when you click down, the whole page doesn't go up and down. When I click in here, now I can manage this page. But notice that everything else didn't move. But when I click in here, as long as I don't hit up, the players aren't going to move. Just click anywhere in there, and now you can move up and down. Same goes for here. This is my actual roster. See? Oh, I don't want to learn more, darn it. Never mind what just happened there. Anyways, again, to add players. See, I clicked right in the middle. Now it's moving. I can add players. Click in the field. Let's go over to another position. You can add guys. And you click over here and you'll see that they're at the bottom now. You can move them up. This is how you sort your list. This is how you do it. You see that? The up buttons do it all. But only one. And remember, always at the end, hit submit. So I put in the work this week. I put in quite a few hours because it's a very mundane process. I give you an example. When I go through here, let's say this was the list of players that were on. First, I have to edit rosters, and I have to throw them all onto a ghost team or a dummy team. I have to first click inside here to see how much experience the guy has. 3 years. He's eligible to be in our league. So then I move on to the next guy. And that's what I have to do over and over for every player. Every player I had to do that for. And when they were 5 years, if he had some stats in his 5th year, then I had to go over to Roto World and check out his history. You wait for it to load, then you gotta scroll down, and there it is, career stats, and I could determine if the guy, if he was in his 5th year, if he had any one season during the last 5 years where he really didn't play much, basically scored less than 10 fantasy points, or, very paltry, non-existent almost stats, then I would allow him to play another year. He's like a retro redshirt. I had to go through that with every player, though. That's why I went through this with you. I wanted to show you what I had to go through. And then once I put all the players on a roster, I had to move some over the farm because I don't want to create too many taxi squad teams, for the graduating players. So it's quite a, mundane and tedious experience. But I did it for you guys and I did it for me. It's going to help us all out because no longer will we have to worry about this whole thing on the main page where I was assembling lists of hot free agents. You won't have to go through that anymore. Give it a chance to load. Sometimes, this one takes a minute. It's fine. Okay, so see, I'm doing it right now with our drafts. I'll keep doing those types of things. But right now I'm going to leave up these lists for the rookie draft because I want you guys to see where everybody was drafted. And I want to sort out the positions. This will help you guys sort out the rookies. This is actually the old list. The rookie lists are over here. See, right over here. So, say running backs and fullbacks. 24 means Najee Harris was the 24th pick in the NFL draft. That's the team that selected him in the NFL. That's his college. And I did that for every player. Sorted them all out. But you will find these players also on the free agent list. Let's go over here to free agent lists again. Add drop. I'm going to go to running back. Now, Najee Harris didn't play last year, but you can also sort them by own. So here's another feature that's really convenient. You can sort players now. Points, overall points. You can sort them by last week's points. This will be very valuable once the season begins. You can see who the hot free agents are that way. Right now, we're just going to say you can even sort them by owned, and this will actually show you some of the rookies. See, there's Najee Harris. He showed up first because many of the players in the FanStar system are in leagues, and they track how much they're owned. So you can see their ownership, and right here you see the little R I'm talking about. That means the guy's a rookie. So when we get to the rookie draft next week, you can't put anybody on your list, or at least you won't be able to draft anybody on your list that doesn't have this little R next to their name. And if you're confused about it, just click on the green target, which simply means he's healthy. If it's a red target, it means there's an injury concern. That's all that means. And here you will see his years are 1. Let's try somebody who's a non-rookie. Marlon Mack. 5 years experience. As you can see, he didn't score much last year, so I allowed him to be a retro redshirt. He scored less than 10 points. That's kind of the standard I'm going on when it comes to retro redshirts in their 5th year. In their 4th year, if they had something like this, then I know they didn't play much last year. Their natural senior year, so they're fair enough to be a retro guy. But I can't get this information going back 4 years using this site, so that's when I have to go to Roto World. If this guy had shown a big score here and he was in his 5th year, I would go to Roto World to confirm if there was one season in his previous 4 where he didn't play a lot, and then he would qualify for retro redshirt status. If you need to hear any of this information again, just go back, rewind, re-listen, send me your questions on email. But no more free agent deals on email. And next year also, we're going to be doing our cuts using the website. So you go to add drop, and we have plenty of time to talk about this, but it's real simple. You'd go over here to your roster. If you want to cut Scott Boston or Boston Scott, and this will all happen after I've already graduated the players that needed to be graduated. You won't have to worry about them. They won't be on your roster anymore. But when you're doing your cut down to 23 players or less, and of course you go below 23 players if you want some transfer picks, you would go here and just drop, and then you would submit it. And then Boston Scott would be dropped. Now, if you make any mistakes doing this next year, no worries. I can always put the guy back on your roster if you make a mistake. That's fair enough. But this year, I had to go through everybody's emails. I had to use the Control F option to find names, and if anything was misspelled, then a couple mistakes happened. And I don't want to see that anymore. No more mistakes. I want it to be clear, and I want you guys to have control of your teams as much as possible. I want to back out of this whole hands-on approach as much as I can so that I, too, can enjoy running my teams. And I think that's fairly concise and straightforward as I wanted it to be. And guess what? I fell right under 10 minutes. That's all I got, guys. Good luck.